Is this a good investment? And a lot of it is not necessarily just about the returns and things like that. It's really, is it going to help you achieve what your goals are? When do you want to retire? When do you want to be able to maybe be financially independent, not necessarily retire, but know that you could stop working if you had to? Because not everybody necessarily wants to stop working, but knowing that you have that financial freedom.
Welcome back to the Harder Working Money podcast. So my episode today is a little different. A few weeks ago, I was able to be a co-host on the Adventures Investment Summit in Scottsdale, Arizona, where we had 40 real estate professionals and other people in the real estate industry get together for a 4-day meeting and mastermind. Now, one of those attendees was Cathy Bearce, and she is a private wealth advisor that's moved into the world of real estate. So if you've heard my other episodes, I sort of hammer on financial advisors and things like that because I don't feel they offer all the options to their clients. So Cathy sort of straddles both worlds. And so it's a really interesting conversation to talk with someone that is in private wealth advisor, but also is reaching out to try to offer more investments and a broader range of opportunities to her clients as opposed to the traditional wealth advisor or financial planner. So check out this interview and see what you think. Okay, we're here at the Harder Working Money podcast, and we are actually in Scottsdale, Arizona today. As you can see in the background, if you're watching the video, we are doing the Adventures Investment Summit, which I'm lucky enough to be a part of helping found along with the Montalongos. And there's 40 people here interested in various aspects of real estate, whether raising money for it or asset managing or GPing their own deals. And one of the guests here is Cathy Bearce, and she's an interesting person I wanted to talk to because she comes from the financial world as a wealth manager, a wealth advisor, correct? And she has the inside scoop of that industry. And she is here because she's involved in real estate and wants to expand those things. So welcome on the podcast.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So can you just describe like what a private wealth advisor is and how that differs from like a financial planner or financial advisor?
Well, so a regular financial advisor or financial planner, we all look at things from a comprehensive perspective and help people in all areas. But a private wealth advisor really sort of takes it to the next level, helping clients really take a look at tax strategies, estate planning strategies, and even from an investment perspective, taking a look at other things that are not your typical stock, bonds, mutual funds, and looking at alternative investments as well.
Okay. So like my experience with a financial advisor was slightly different than that. I felt that the pool of things that was being offered was sort of tailored or restricted. Like, how does that differ among advisors, basically, or depending who they work with?
It can be, especially if an advisor is with a broker-dealer. There's certain firms where they basically can only offer what's on their platform.
What would be a firm? Like, what would be a name of a firm?
A closed firm would be someone like an Ameriprise.
Okay.
Basically, you can only offer what's on their platform.
Okay.
There are independent broker-dealers like a LPL Financial, which would actually allow you to offer more and sometimes some stuff outside their platform, but also there are some limitations with their platform as well. I was previously with what they call a hybrid RIA, I was a RIA being a registered investment advisor. And I was with an RIA, which is external from the broker-dealer. And the broker-dealer, so they offer different things. With the RIA, I can offer different types of investments. And then on the broker-dealer platform, a lot of it was more commission-based versus fee-based.
Okay. And if someone's using a financial advisor of some sort, like, do they have to ask that? Like that, because it's a gray area in the background of like, oh, the back office. And like, it's not really, they don't want to talk about, I think, what the pool of offerings and...
Well, it's a question you should be asking your advisor.
Okay.
Is there some bias to the investment that they're going to be offering to you? And also how do they get compensated? Those are things that will sort of help you to tell.
You'll hear fiduciary, which is what sort of I fell into. And I was skeptical, I guess you would say. And I think the word, I'm a fiduciary, sort of put me at ease. And I didn't realize that didn't mean that the offerings weren't restricted, that I was still being offered, I guess you would say, if that makes sense. Like, yes, they had to pick the best of what was available, but what was available was still restricted, I guess.
Correct. Yeah. So, fiduciary is to do what's in the best interest of the client, not what's in the best interest of the advisor. So ultimately, when they say that they're fiduciary, they are doing the best that they can based in their realm.
Got it.
And so you're looking for an advisor that actually isn't restricted and can offer things that are outside that is not on necessarily on the platform.
So what's your goal here? You've previously been personally involved in real estate. Now you're looking to expand those out for clients, or what's your end game?
I've had access to investments that I have not been able to offer to my clients. And I got to a point where, I've got a lot of clients that I work with that are pre-retirees and retirees. And, I wanted to start doing more types of investments that provided more cash flow. And you don't get that same kind of cash flow with stock bonds and mutual funds because they're just the rates just aren't there. So you want to combine, and I'm saying don't necessarily do stocks and bonds, but diversify the portfolio and using alternatives that have higher yields to be able to provide higher income for clients.
So in real estate, people that are sort of used to the stock and bond market, they're like, oh, I put money in REITs. Like, how is that different than what you're talking about?
So REIT is still actually really, because a lot of time, well, there's private REITs, which are a little bit different, and then necessarily like a public REIT that might be in an exchange traded fund or mutual fund. Those are still affected by the stock market,
Yeah.
where holding your physical real estate is very different. You control when you want to sell it, when you want to, you know, increase the rents on it. You have a lot more control over it. I mean, they control what they're going to do with that, but the flow of money going in and out of the REIT is based on the stock market. It's not based on somebody saying you've got to hold it. That's the thing with alternatives is the illiquidity, because in some cases, the illiquidity is actually hopefully protecting the investor, because you don't want to be pulling out money that might not be the right time to be able to do that, to support that
Yeah,
investment.
because REITs hold properties. They could hold multifamily.
Yeah.
However, they're, like you said, they're liquid. So you can go and sell your shares of that REIT, and they have to, obviously be liquid. And if too many people request those, they're being forced to then sell properties when is not ideal, because they need to return money back to these, basically it's sort of like a stock, basically,
Right.
in non-technical terms, in that way. And as opposed to, you are a percentage owner of the actual asset that you're investing in. REITs, you're not a percentage owner in the asset, you're a percentage owner technically in the
Right. When
in,
you
in the
don't get
company that holds the asset, but
right,
not.
and you also don't get the same tax benefits that
Yes.
you do by physically owning the asset itself.
Got it. Yeah. So all the depreciation and
Yeah.
these bonus depreciation things we're learning about don't flow through to you because you're not a.
Yeah, and when you start working with higher net worth clients, those are things that they're definitely going to be looking at is how do I reduce my taxes? And finding investments that will allow them to do that. And your typical stocks, bonds, mutual funds is not going to get you that kind of tax treatment that you're hoping to look for. So you
Yeah.
have to look at other alternative strategies.
With your experience in wealth management and advising, what do you tell people from what you know about how wealthy people invest versus what the average 9 to 5 or W-2 person, how they typically invest? And I feel like advisors are sort of in the middle. They're offering products that are a lot of stocks and bonds and things like that, yet they're trying to offer better advice than you're sort of driving down the middle of what wealthy people do with, what we're learning about, and I want to call it the retail market, basically.
And one of the reasons why you have to, ask a lot of questions to your advisor, because, you know, the majority of advisors are out there, probably don't have a lot of higher network clients. And so they're not taking their knowledge and level to a higher level. One of the reasons that I've kind of veered off to try and do things different is because I've invested personally in real estate. So that alone has given me a lot of experience for clients that want to get involved in real estate, even how to, own their own properties, how to look for tenants, how to, just all the things you would need to do, because I've had that experience where a lot of advisors don't. So they won't promote it necessarily, because you basically promote what you're most comfortable with. For me, I like to figure out what else is out there that I'm not offering my clients that could be a benefit to my clients. And in most cases, I'm looking for things that can help them on taxes. And that's where the real estate is one of the reasons why I took that avenue to switching the current RIA or previously with, to a new RIA to offer more alternative investments to clients.
Got it. I didn't realize that was an option for people to do, that you could switch your registered investment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even go on your own and be your own RIA.
Oh, got it.
The only reason I didn't do that myself is one, then you're on an island yourself.
Yeah.
and you don't have a team behind you to support you. And the other reason is then you also have all this compliance you have to deal with versus having people that support you with the compliance part of it.
So where do you want to be in 5 years with this? Like, what's your...
My goal is to be able to continue to work with higher net worth clients, but also offer them as much as I can to help them from a tax perspective. So I ultimately want to work with less people, but hire more net worth people to really focus and get more into the details with them on it.
Okay, I just have to jump in here real quick. Hope you're loving this episode as much as I am. So this show is sponsored by my company, Passive Capital Partners. If you agree with the ideas and philosophies we talk about in this show and you want to go deeper, visit business2wealth.com and sign up to receive monthly advice and investment opportunities that we tailor specifically towards business owners and professionals. All my content is also on social media, so follow me at Brian O'Neill Investor on all the favorite social media platforms. And don't forget, subscribe to the show on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Okay, back to the show. What tax perspectives are you looking to help them with? Like what's the particular issue they're facing you're trying to solve?
Yeah, I mean, so for like business owners, when they sell a business, I mean, they're going to have a huge capital gain. So how can they reduce that tax? For high income earners, they're paying a lot. I mean, if anything, when kind of you get business owners, investors, individuals, and they're in the highest tax bracket because of the fact that they don't really have a lot of tax write-offs. So how do they get to be able to reduce their income? So there's a lot of different strategies that you can do with real estate, oil and gas, and other different things that are out there to be able to help them to do that.
Yeah, oil and gas is what I use as a business owner for sure. That was the first one I did. It's slightly higher risk, but when you factor in the tax savings, the returns don't have to be that great to basically return where you would be without the tax savings. The tax savings are incredible. They offset, basically all my different sources of income.
Yeah. So, and the thing is people have to look at, there's certain investments that you're doing for return, and there's certain investments that you may be doing just for taxes, and there's certain ones that may do a combination of both. And so the goal is, it's really understanding what people's goals are and what they're trying to achieve. And so, one of the things is taking a look at their tax return and finding things that they, maybe haven't worked with their tax accountant on. Because a lot of times, a lot of the accountants that they work with are tax preparers. They're not tax planners. And so our goal is, we don't do taxes, but we do tax planning. For me, I guess the thing is I want to try to differentiate what differentiates me from other advisors. And a big part of that is, I think the education in terms of what I go through, that's why I got my CFP. I have my CPWA, CLU, CHFC, and just even more with continuation with the multifamily and doing a lot of education in that area to get better. Because I was doing mostly 2-family, 3-families when I started in real estate. I hadn't really looked at apartment investing. And that's when I realized, oh my God, there's a whole nother world out there. Because I didn't have partners to necessarily invest, but by investigating in this avenue, I've been able to find people to partner with. But it also gave me an opportunity to bring in clients to be able to say, hey, here's some investments that, maybe they want to own real estate, but they don't necessarily want to have to deal with any of the, you know, I guess they call the
Tenants, toilets, and I can't remember what the third one is, termites or something like that.
Termites, yeah. I mean, I've dealt with all that stuff even on the 2-3 families. I've dealt with, asbestos, you name it. I've gone through all the things, and that's actually one of the reasons is I started selling all my properties because I'm like, you know what, I'm done with real estate. I can't scale it at this level. But then when I got involved in learning more about multifamily, that's where I was like, okay, this is the way to be able to scale it and be able to grow it. Because to me, I'm looking at not just for myself, but clients in terms of how to create more passive income. I would love to be able to be at point, not to say that I don't want to work because I love what I do. And it's something I could do forever. But I also know that I want to be able to know that if I want to walk away, I could walk away.
Yeah, I think that's the goal of some of the people I focus on too, as business owners as well, that never reach the point. They're stuck in the entrepreneur myth where they wanted to build something that ran without them and they ended up building a company around them. They love what they do, but they want to let off the accelerator a little bit. It's like, how do you do that? Well, you have to figure out how to get yourself out of your business, which sounds easy, but sometimes people can't figure it out. Like I didn't truly figure it out. I started 3 companies. By the third one, I got closer, but what do you do if you don't have the option to three, four, five different iterations of your business? Like, okay, well, a lot of people are still making great money. So my focus is on like, okay, you're making great money. You've built a business around yourself, which we're just going to stick with. How can you use what you're making to build other sources of income, basically, and other exit strategies as far as retirement, instead of this one nest egg that produces great money, but something come along and just crack that egg, and then you have no other plan beyond that business, and it's all based around you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's different paths you can take to get there. But I think some people sort of settle at that point. Like, okay, I make $300,000 a year. I have a business. I'm just gonna wait till I turn 65 and hope I can sell it. And it's like, that sounds great. But I think they hit a point, which is where I hit, like, I need to decide now if I'm going to do that or if I want to take a different route. And I decided to take that different route. So that's what,
Yeah, well, I think the other thing too is to, and one of the things that I want to be able to do is to help people to look at that avenue that exists out there, where a lot of people don't know
you
that
have
and they
no
get
idea. I had
stuck.
no idea. I had
Yeah,
no idea until I randomly started going to conferences because I had sold a business. I was trying to place the money. Again, being a passive investor, just like, oh, I'll see this when I'm 65. And like, wait a second, there's a room with several hundred people doing exactly what I had no idea was possible. And every single one of them, almost every single person I talked to in real estate or alternate investments, did not start there. They started in business or some kind of corporate career. It's like, oh, these are the people that figured it out. So I'm going to learn from them. So
yeah, and I think, and that's the other thing too is as the entrepreneurial spirit, you have to continue to learn and grow and just keep educating yourself because you just don't know what the options are until either and that's one of the reasons of being able to network with different people because you'll learn things that you never heard of from other people, and that's why I continue to try to you know constantly learning as I go along because then the more I learn, the more I provide value to other people.
yeah, I think a lot of business owners sit in silos as well. They're either alone in their business and everyone's a competitor, or maybe they have whatever trade or business or industry they're in has an industry group. And a few times a year they get together and they don't compete with each other because they're in different states. And then you go back to being alone again, where this industry is different, that everyone comes, I feel like, from different industries. And yes, you're competing against each other, but there's so many different markets and different specialty niches
Well,
that,
it's a little different when you say about competing because in most cases, yeah, there may be a property you compete on, but they're not. Most people here, they've learned from other people and they want to give back. They have a give back spirit,
yeah.
spirit. And then that's the one thing I really enjoy about this is everyone is willing to help other people because they knew somebody else helped them. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I continue in this environment to kind of learn more and be able to help other people as well and give back.
That's amazing. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people in your career don't continue to go out. I mean, you basically are boots on the ground out there looking to see, like, hey, I've done this personally. How can I get this to my clients? And I want to meet the actual operators and get into the industry that I'm advising people to put money into, as opposed to just, I don't know how it works in your industry, but I imagine these products that are offered at broker dealers, you get a lunch and learn and you start offering it or not offering it. I don't know. Is that true? Or like, how do these products get pitched?
It's interesting. You have wholesalers that come in and pitch their products, but ideally, you really should investigate what else is out there besides just that product and compare. Because like anything, when you're looking at investing in a multifamily, what are you going to look at? You're going to look at how the deal's being managed in terms of who the sponsors are. You're going to look at what kind of debts on the property. All the details that you need to know. Same sort of thing with anybody who's going to offer you a product is to sort of ask them, is there anything better out there, or what else would you offer besides just that one
Or
product?
else have you looked at, I
Yeah,
guess, to see?
yeah.
Because if they haven't looked at much, you can probably sniff out that maybe they're not doing the due diligence that you obviously do. And yeah,
Yeah. Well, I find also sometimes some advisors, they work with one wholesaler and not necessarily look at all the other wholesalers because there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of stuff that you have to go through and learn. And it's sometimes I think people get comfortable with where they're going. But my goal is really look at what else is out there because sometimes there will be something better and taking a look at, just comparing it, just even for a self check to know, is this a good investment? And a lot of it is not necessarily just about the returns and things like that. It's really, is it going to help you achieve what your goals are? When do you want to retire? When do you want to be able to maybe be financially independent, not necessarily retire, but know that you could stop working if you had to? Because not everybody necessarily wants to stop working, but knowing that you have that financial freedom.
Well, it was awesome having you on, Kathy, and like I've been wanting to sit down. I've been telling people on the previous podcast, I'm gonna have someone like you on, and here you are. So it was cool to finally get someone on here that could talk about the inside world of the advisors and the wealth managers, wealth planners. If someone wants to get in contact you or track you on social media, do you have anything that you can
Well,
put in the show notes?
yeah, I'm working on my website because of the fact that I've moved over to new RA. So that hopefully, I mean, eventually be cathybearce.com, but also probably going to have another website as well. But best way right now is to reach me by phone is 781-330-8309.
Great, I appreciate having you on.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. I
Yep,
appreciate you having me as well.
no problem.